Oh boy, time to step on a landmine with this video. So, I was thinking that Season 2 of Mob Psycho 100 was a little dull compared to the first. Okay, put down the pitchforks and let me expand on what I mean, and subsequently why I was wrong. Minor spoilers for Season 1 and 2 of Mob Psycho. And if you haven't seen the series yet, I do appreciate you stopping by, but why are you watching this? The first season of Mob Psycho had a solid plot escalation by introducing our characters, giving us a taste of what the series was about by episode 3, raising the stakes by showing other powerful espers, and capping the experience off with a fight between our main cast and an evil organization. So in essence, tuning in each week gave us something to look forward to by moving the plot at a steady pace. There was a constant feeling like something was on the horizon, keeping you, as a viewer, coming back. But Season 2 broke away from that formula quite a bit. That's not to say it doesn't have a plot or story to follow, but the build-up to it is much slower paced. It makes the series feel almost slice of life at times. Rather than hooking the audience in with mysteries, it seems like the studio was pretty confident those watching were already along for the ride. And that's not to imply that that's necessarily a bad thing. So let me quit dancing around it and get to the point already. The reason I felt Season 2 wasn't moving forward like Season 1 was because it felt stagnant. With no main goal on the horizon for the cast to strive for, the first few episodes felt, well, episodic and meandering, following Mob being asked out, a few jobs with Reagan, and other daily routines with Mob. Though all of that did give us some great character moments, so it wasn't as though I didn't enjoy it. But as I mentioned, the series seemed complacent, putting the cliffhanger from Season 1 on hold just to focus on the main cast palling around for a bit. But honestly, that couldn't be further from the truth. Season 2 of Mob Psycho wasn't just faffing about, it's a masterful execution in character development, something I had mentioned appreciating quite a bit about this series in my first look. So let's break that down. It's easy for a show to tell us how much a character has grown or changed after one simple choice. Think about pretty much any shonen series and it's inevitably said how much the protagonist has grown over his journey because he didn't throw a full-blown tantrum. Many series use that simple throwaway logic, usually accompanied by a change in appearance, as a shortcut for unearned character growth that happened off-screen in a time skip or in a training montage. Something this season pokes fun at by showing Mob training his ass off and failing at crunch time. But yeah, it's shorthand for actual development. After the events of Season 1, with Mob nearly losing control of himself with his friends' lives threatened, we see in Season 2 that he has actually grown. It's incredibly subtle, which is why I didn't notice right away, but also the main reason I feel it's so well executed. The main point of the first half of this season is to reintroduce us to the norm while showcasing the maturity Mob gained since his encounter with Claw and through the numerous relationships he's built. So when comparing his actions in Season 1 to Season 2, it's completely obvious. No longer a doormat, Mob has his own desires and motivation that cause a pushback on those around him. Reagan constantly calling him to solve minor issues on short notice grates on Mob for interrupting his budding social life, standing up for others he barely knows for the sake of protecting what they care about even if it means he gets treated like trash, even putting his foot down when being used. Upon watching after such a long break, these just felt natural. It's not until later when others mention that he's grown that you realize that, yes, he actually has grown as a person. He's become assertive, but not so much that it's completely out of character. Rather, the series does the mature thing by not drawing attention to it. It just happens organically. Him slowly exercising his autonomy throughout the first few episodes, stretching his powers a bit, showing more and more emotion, and even declining to do something small over his own reservations. Rather than doing what others say, realizing his passive attitude could lead to those around him getting hurt either by others like with Claw, or by his own hands if he lost control. Mob in this season isn't just fighting whatever bad guy inserts himself into his life, but his own situation in life as a focus. with the rather overt message of the series being grow up, lambasting man-children who retreat into delusions like with the Claw members, and even drawing parallels to psychic powers and puberty with trying to control one's wildly fluctuating emotions. It's nice to see this series take a subtle approach. This message was practically beaten into us in the first season, with Reigen even flat out saying as much in the final episode. But here we are now. Restraint shown, as this show doesn't just say Mob has grown up. We see him take control of his life. We see him thinking for himself. We see him using his own will to make decisions. And not just inconsequential ones, but decisions that are important for himself and those around him that shape the future of their relationships and lives. Like when Reigen makes a comment that's going a little too far, Mob takes a break from working with him, allowing Reigen to regain his own identity without relying on Mob to essentially run his business. Further, that break lets him see just how far Mob has come by removing himself from his protege for an extended period. So, I was definitely wrong in saying that Season 2 was slower paced. It's definitely not when reframing the central conflict. Rather than assuming it's going to be about Claw trying to take revenge on Mob and his friends, Mob has to take control of his own life first. And that falls in line with the themes the series presents, in a practice what you preach sort of way that I definitely appreciate. It's nice to see a shonen series not solve all of its problems with fists for once. And while action certainly keeps me coming back, I do like seeing legitimate character growth strived for and earned without some sort of tournament arc or bullshit transformation. It's small things like that that make me love this series even more now that I've noticed it. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and do all the other YouTube stuff because that really helps me out. Thanks for watching.